I think the fact that a person can sing and keep track of tempo means that they do have the ability to at least learn to dance.
And then if we call them back, they will learn a song that we decide, and we listen to them as like a whole group in quartets to see how they can hold a part. So yeah, it's a pretty thorough process. It is not easy for us to make these decisions at all.
But you can also do it kind of in reverse, where you breathe in.
I think it would have to be letting go of the perfectionism. Yeah.
Impossible.
For the two of us, no chance.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Score. Hi,
Woot,
Luke.
woot. Hi, Trevor.
How we doing?
I'm great. It's good to be
for
back.
We're back for number 2.
Here we go.
And we're not
again.
alone this time.
It's true.
Who would we have with us today, Luke?
We have 2 of the coolest people you will ever meet. I'm so excited that you're going to get to meet them through your eyes and ears in the podcast verse. We are here with the 2026-2027 directors of Gonzaga's Big Bang Theory a cappella ensemble. Welcome to the show, Eliana Starbuck and Nate Carpenter.
Yay. Thanks for having us.
Are you excited?
Very excited.
You're our first guests, no pressure. So
No pressure.
you gotta
at
have
all.
to lock in, you know, be all excited. We have some questions for you. I think the one thing that I kind of want to start with, which I didn't prep you guys with, but it's a good intro. So you guys are the directors of the a cappella group. Now there is like choral music that is a cappella, and then there is a cappella as a genre. So can you start by, can one of you guys talk to us about what is a cappella and what differentiates a cappella from other forms of vocal music making?
Sure. I mean, I guess the general.
Listen, but I'm gonna shut the door. I'm just realizing because it's outside. But keep going. Sorry.
All right. The general consensus is that a cappella is music made with just people's voices, whether it be just singing or adding vocal percussion or beatboxing. We call it vocal percussion because we're a cappella nerds.
Pretentious.
And yeah.
You gotta use this mic like a BBT mic. It's gotta be you know how it is, Mr. Beatboxer.
Yes.
There you go. Sorry, continue.
I'd say the difference between that choral music and a cappella, I think it partially comes down to the genre and like the type of music you're singing. A cappella, you see a lot more pop music compared to those choral pieces.
Yeah.
Can I just, so like, for example, a cappella music, it's things like The Sign by Ace of Base and Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All pitch perfect references. I would also say that we are specifically like a pop a cappella group, which when we go to a convention or a competition, it's pop a cappella. It's not a whole bunch of ballads. I would say what we do is almost always very rhythmic. It's typically not super slow songs. Those kind of lose their emphasis and kind of what makes them fun for pop a cappella. And so it's very different than what you would see in like a choral setting. However, sometimes a lot of choirs will do like pop a cappella music, which is a good way to mix
What
up
is
the
that
set.
face, Luke?
Sorry, Trevor and I sang a piece in the Gonzaga concert choir entitled "The Gift" by a composer named Rob Dietz, which was definitely in the pop a cappella style, and that was it's a really, really cool piece to listen to and perform. It is less of a really, really cool piece to learn and trudge through in rehearsals.
Which then I guess kind of leads into like a sub question for me. So an example like The Gift by Rob Dietz is actually an original piece of music. So how often do you see original music in the a cappella genre, if that makes sense?
Not often.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like if anyone's seen Pitch Perfect 2, when, one of the Bellas starts doing like an original song, that is the reaction I feel like most people would have if you like showed up to ICCAs with an original song. Like, it's We very much do covers. I will say, though, I feel like we have a lot of, like, original arrangements.
For sure.
Like, you see a lot of songs that are, like, you don't even recognize the songs. We actually did one of our ICCA songs this last year. We took the lyrics from another song and did not use the same chord progression or anything, but it was overlaid onto a different song. And so you don't even, like, know it, but it's a completely different song.
So there's flexibility in kind of the artistic license of the kind of arrangements and that kind of thing. But for the most part, it is standards from the pop jazz at all, or not really? Can be?
Yeah, there can be jazz.
Well, so I know fellow BBT member Lily Franklin did an arrangement of Bing Crosby's "Swinging on a Star,"
That's right.
which was really, really neat to get to hear, and hopefully future Beyond the Score guest, Lily Franklin.
You just keep every episode. You keep calling out someone that you want on the show, and now that just puts pressure on us to hope that they'll come on.
It's good pressure. This is why we're here. This is what we're doing. Thank you, Trevor. Trevor just brought me my water bottle for those listening.
Well, we got so many comments on the first episode about the favorite part was watching us drink our water, because apparently we do it way too frequently.
Well, clearly these comments are coming from people who don't interact with me on a daily basis, because as Eliana's laughing at me, she knows that this is my emotional support water bottle with about a quarter of Bucky left, my shredded Bucky sticker. So.
Okay, so you guys have mentioned Pitch Perfect, the movie. For those that don't know, if you don't know, it's really sad. I know. People look at me as the classical guy. I have seen all 3 Pitch Perfect movies multiple times, done multiple marathons. I love Pitch Perfect. My hot take is that the plot of the third one is the worst. I think that's not the hot take, but the hot take is that the arrangements in the third are the best in the whole series.
Well, so I'll say something terrible, because when we were prepping for this episode, I was talking about this with Trevor. I have only seen the first Pitch Perfect movie.
Shame.
So, Eliana, what are you talking about when you say the reaction to hearing an original song? Because I have no idea what that reaction is in Pitch Perfect 2.
Well, you, first of all, have to see Pitch Perfect 2.
This is what I've gathered.
Yeah, so a very common little competition in all the Pitch Perfect movies is called the Riff Off. And it's a really informal competition where you have, like, a word or a phrase, and you have to kind of domino effect, like, songs off of it. And so they have their freshman, the only freshman in the group gets pointed to sing in the riff off, and she starts singing an original song, and everyone boos at her, and they're kicked out of the competition.
Is that the Haley Steinfeld character?
Yes, yeah.
Why you?
I also
just gave
did
me another look
because I had never heard of Haley Steinfeld until about 2 days ago.
until I told him who Haley Steinfeld was.
Oh my gosh, you would love it.
Okay, this is you know what? This is a perfect summer movie recommendation.
Yes.
So I'll check it out.
So, in that vein with Pitch Perfect, you both, I assume, have seen at least the first one, if not the whole series. I've only seen the first one. You've also only seen the first one.
Yeah, Nate.
Do you find that when you are auditioning people, do you find that people join because of Pitch Perfect? Like, they think, oh, Pitch Perfect, ICCA. Like, is that your draw for people, or what? I just am curious, like, because that is like a quintessential, like, a cappella movie. Like, does that draw your singers at all? Would you say?
We gotta ask them.
I would say, honestly, not as much as you would think.
Okay.
I think a lot of our audience, when they're like, oh, what's a cappella? And we're like, oh, we're like Pitch Perfect. They're like, oh, that makes sense. But honestly, for most of the members we have in our group, they are people who wanted to continue singing in college, but they didn't necessarily want to sing in a super choral heavy, like classical genre. However, a lot of the members of our group are also in a lot of the choral ensembles. But I would say I was very excited I was like, oh, this is like Pitch Perfect. Like, they dance, they sing. My freshman year, we did Since You've Been Gone, and that was super fun. We did the, like, Pitch Perfect
that is, like,
arrangement.
Quintessential. Like, everybody knows Since You've Been Gone.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, but I think most people, it's more of just like they come from a theater background or they come from a very choral background. They're like, we want to keep singing.
Got you.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's pivot a little bit to talking Big Bang Theory, BBT, if you're casual about it. I want to know, just shoot from the hip. So, Eliana, what's your favorite tune that you have sung for BBT, and what's your favorite tune you've directed for BBT?
I would say Red Desert was my favorite song to sing.
That's on Spotify, right?
Yes, it is
Check
on
it out.
Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's literally everywhere. That was a ton of fun. We sang that. That was the first song I ever sang in BBT. And then favorite to direct would probably be Vertigo, which was part of our ICCA set this year. When we were like imagining choreography and what we really wanted to do with the song, and also interpretation. That was the most fun. That one we talked a lot about like inner turmoil, and it was a really interesting conversation we had, and it was fun to facilitate.
Love that. Okay, Nate, you haven't directed a tune yet, so what's your favorite song that you've sung in BBT?
I would say the favorite song I've sung is...
Uh-oh. Eliana, can you hand Nate his mic real quick? And Nate, can you hand me your mic? It died. Technical difficulties.
Please hold.
Sorry. Okay, cool. Go, Nate.
All right, here we go. Take two. My favorite song I've sung in BBT is The End of Love by the Nor'easters. I really love that piece. I think it's definitely a more choral piece. I guess, you know, how we were talking before about what's the difference between real choral music and a cappella music. And I wouldn't say there's really a direct line between the two. I think that the two can, shift into each other. And I think The End of Love really does that. We sang it at the National Acapella and Choral Convention in Orlando, Florida. That was back in 2024. And yeah, they recorded it. It's also on our Spotify. So
Check it out.
yeah. But that song has been a lot of fun.
Okay, Trevor, what's the prognosis?
We have Mike.
Oh,
Sorry.
good. Okay.
I don't know what happened, but you're back.
Sorry, I was waiting with bated breath. Never a dull moment on Beyond the Score.
I will say this is the first time we have had four people on the show, and this is the first time that we've had more than two mics actually pick up audio at all on this computer. So
beautiful thing.
It's been a journey.
Yes.
I have a question. And I think you both have mentioned this, that a cappella, there's a lot of, kind of feels like show choir in the sense that there's a lot of showmanship aspects to it, that there is not quite the full extent of like dancing that show choir has, but there is a visual element as well as aural.
AURAL.
I got flamed for that when I was in school too, because there's ear training and aural skills. Anyways, there's a visual and sound component. I can't dance for crap. Could I be in an a cappella group? How quintessential is being able to move your body?
I think we definitely weigh the singing a lot more. I think the fact that a person can sing and keep track of tempo means that they do have the ability to at least learn to dance. So I wouldn't say that would be something that should bar a person from getting into a cappella.
So what I'm hearing is you're going to be my new dance instructor? Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely not.
Trevor, there's hope for you.
Dang, bang.
I'm absolutely not a dancer either.
Okay.
If you, I'm sure there's those practice videos from our ICCA set of us learning all of our choreography. And yeah, if I can do it, I think anyone could.
Who choreographs your music?
It kind of depends. So the last 2 years we have had Grace Kirsch and Ryan Bass do it. Ryan Bass came back and helped, which was awesome to also have an alum perspective. This year it will be kind of me, Nate, and then Tyson Fletcher.
Okay. Man, so you go from not being able to dance to doing the choreography. What a promotion.
maybe I won't be. I'll just be an ideas guy. Maybe could be the plan.
I will say though, on the topic of dance, we implemented for the first time, at least in my knowledge of BBT, a dance portion to our auditions. So we've changed a lot in the last year or so with BBT. And so in our callbacks, we added about a 30-second little dance thing that we were trying to see how people picked up on it, if they were willing to keep trying. So honestly, for us, I don't think it's really you have to be a perfect dancer. It's more of like, we want to see that if you mess up, you're still going to continue trying.
Can I ask, what is the audition process for BBT like? What does that entail?
Yeah. So again, we're changing some things. In the past, it's been a packet. This year we're going digital, but we have you fill out some questions of like, what are things that you do and voice range, and are you interested in arranging and things like that. We have some silly questions on there too. And then they come in and they do a solo audition with the directors. And they do about 2 sight readings, 1 rhythm.
We added the oral
test.
Yeah.
We decided to add like the oral test because some people really pick up well on listening but not reading music. So we added that this year. And then we listened to a solo of their choice. And then if we call them back, they will learn a song that we decide. And we listen to them as like a whole group in quartets to see how they can hold apart. So yeah, it's a pretty thorough process. It is not easy for us to make these decisions at all. So,
well, it's a fairly competitive, because it sounds like from the very, very, very limited experience I have with a cappella, I'm trying because, I'm going to be a future choral director and I need to learn about this kind of stuff. These groups aren't big. Like it seems like the sweet spot is about 16-ish more. I mean, you maybe have a few more, you maybe have a few less, but you're not getting these like 30-person ensembles. Right. They're quite pared down, which gives you a lot of, I feel like it gives you a lot of vocal freedom, really, because when you have less people on a part, it's easier to coordinate those people to do, especially a lot of the complicated things that I've seen in some of these a cappella arrangements that are quite demanding vocally. But yeah, it seems like it's got to be very competitive just due to the nature of there not being, a lot of spots. You only had 2 seniors graduate last year, so unless people don't come back to the group, like it's not. I feel like it's not even a guarantee that there's like a seat open for a specific voice part on a year-to-year basis, you know?
Yeah, so in previous years, my freshman year, they only took on 2 new people. It was me and Sophie Verdi. So yeah, it definitely is a very selective process. Something that surprised me coming into Gonzaga and auditioning for the a cappella group is the fact that there's only one group here. Mm-hmm. A lot of schools will have, 3 or 4 maybe. Even of our size, we have 5,000 about undergrads. Mm-hmm. My brother, he went to Santa Clara, which is about the same size.
It's Gonzaga with palm trees.
Exactly, yeah. They have 5.
Wow.
And their audition process is, I think just about as competitive as ours. So it's just interesting to me that we only have the one group here, but I think it does really allow us to be, very picky with, what we're looking for in terms of what people can add to the group.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask, what is kind of the voice part / type breakdown of a typical BBT ensemble?
It can change. But generally, you only have one person who is like your full bass, and then you'll have, this is ideal.
Sure.
You'll have maybe 1 to 2 baritones, maybe 3 tenors, and then 4 altos, and up to 4 sopranos. I think generally we want less altos than sopranos.
Really? Oh, other
flipped?
Way. Oh,
sorry. Yeah, my bad. less sopranos than altos.
Yes.
Got you.
And so is that one token bass generally your vocal percussion person? No.
No, so we'll have one person who's on bass and one person who's on vocal percussion.
Okay.
So what's the, because I'm used to, again, classical choral world, your pyramid of sound. It starts with the most you need is bass, and then tenor, and then alto, and then soprano. But you're saying a singular bass out of a group of 16 on the bottom. What is the reasoning for having only one bass? Because, my head is like, to have the, overtone series and have everything tuned right, you need your foundation of your chords. So what's the reasoning for having only one bass?
Go ahead.
Well, it's really different when you're mic'd. When most of our really competitive performances are mic'd, and we have very few that we do like a full set that is not mic'd. The bass is almost always, it has an octave pedal added, so it's an octave below what it would be. And then it is amplified, so you really, really hear the bass.
So you don't need your bass to be it could be a baritone.
We have had a alto sing bass.
Okay.
We had Kelsey and I sang bass for a little bit this year, and we would put octave pedals on. And we have that for tuning purposes. The more basses you have, the more inconsistencies there are. And so we try to have the one bass, and honestly, a lot of the intonation is focused on that one bass.
Okay. So then, now this brings up a follow-up question. If you have a non-traditional bass singer singing the bass part, how do you rehearse if you're not rehearsing? Do you always rehearse with mics then? Or like if you're not rehearsing with mics, how do you tune? Because I would think that that's difficult to tune to bass that's not actually octavized in the right octave, if that makes sense. How do you go about then working that if you have a non-traditional bass singer and you're not on mics?
Yeah. I think we kind of go about it a couple different ways. I wouldn't say that as an a cappella group we typically, while yes we do tune to one person, that's not necessarily how we go about like rehearsals. We typically, it's more of a feeling. I think a lot of a cappella is driven by feeling, not thinking necessarily.
Well, there goes us.
Yeah, that's
We're
that's
not gonna
scary
rock
for a
then.
couple of thinkers.
And so, yeah, we definitely rely on that bass, but so it requires us to kind of dampen our sound to listen, or we change a lot of like where we are actually standing. So often what I'll do is I'll have Nate and Tate, our bass and VP duo, in the middle so that we can hear them the best, and then everyone else around. And so, yeah, we do that. But I feel like, honestly, we kind of just all rely on each other. And we have a relatively good sense of, like, intonation, even if, our bass wasn't there that day. But when it comes to a mic'd set, we really need to make sure that if the bass is off, we're with the bass.
Yeah.
Now, do your bass and vocal percussionist duo need to have rhyming names to be in BBT, or is that just a happy coincidence?
It's just a coincidence.
Happy accident.
Happy accidents. We love when those happen. Nate, I kind of want to talk about your story a little bit in BBT, because you started, I believe, as a baritone, right? A singer in the group, but you have recently shifted into being the vocal percussionist after having been a singer. Can you talk about what that experience is like? Because I'm used to listening to groups like, BYU Vocal Point or Pentatonics, where like they have like a dedicated, and they can also sing, but like they come in and like that's what they've worked on their whole life. Like that's their thing. And you kind of switched focuses. We talked a little bit before the show, but it sounds like you kind of did it for fun, but then kind of had to do it a little bit more. You were asked to kind of do it a little bit more seriously. What was that transition like, going from being a singer to being a vocal percussionist?
First, it's been a lot of fun. I really do enjoy beatboxing, and yeah, like I said, I just like would do it in the shower on my own, and so we had our vocal percussionist the year before decided to leave the group, so there was an opening, and yeah, so I decided to jump on it.
Well, you should tell the story that you told me before You should tell the story you told me before rehearsal
Is
about.
this why Eliana is silently laughing, trying not to laugh into her microphone?
Oh, yes.
You should tell me that story because that was interesting.
When I was in Europe.
Yeah, that story.
So the summer before, I was in Europe, and I had my phone turned off because I didn't want to use data overseas. And apparently, Eliana and Grace texted me over the summer, "Hey, you're still interested in doing vocal percussion?" But I just never received it. And so I didn't actually know I'd be doing vocal percussion full time until about like halfway through the first semester, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, I was doing some here and there, some pieces here and there, switching off. But I think around October, something around there, I switched fully into VP. And yeah, I'd say the big difference between singing and the VP is much more repetitive. And I find that I can actually, get it down quicker than I would be able to do, a baritone part. I love singing baritone too, but I like beatboxing more.
Nice.
So
Nate, are you going to be really, really mad at me if I put you on the spot and see if you can give us just a little itty bitty demonstration of some VP, if you will?
Show your full kit.
we can see how it comes out in the mic. I don't want to like blow it out.
No, go ahead.
but-
No, you're good.
Man, I hate
I'm evil. I'm so sorry.
What we can also do is if you want, we can record you like after the show, like on your own, and then we can insert it in the middle if that makes you feel better. Not doing it on the spot.
I'll just do it now.
Do it on the spot? Do it.
Yeah,
Rip it.
yeah.
Rip it, man. That's great.
You nailed it. That was awesome.
You nailed it. No, that's good. That's good. That's awesome.
Fun fact about VP is you need a lot of water.
I was gonna say.
So,
Correct.
yeah.
And how much do you need more or less air than what you would need for singing? Would you say?
It's the breathing is very weird. It's kind of more searching for places.
Sorry.
You have to search for what spot am I going to breathe next.
Got you.
Because most of the sounds you're making are sending air outwards.
Yeah.
But there are a few sounds you can make where you can actually breathe in while you're doing it. So actually, I can give like a little tutorial later.
Okay.
Different
Yeah,
ways.
no, please. Because one of the things that I was going to ask is I think that there's a lot of like, it sounds like acapella is something that like even like high school teachers are trying to implement into their programs.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of the hardest things is getting a beatboxer, just getting someone even willing to learn and practice and get better at beatboxing. So hearing you try some of the stuff and like tips that you have for getting into beatboxing, please, like we'd love to hear it and that kind of
for
stuff.
sure.
So, and if you want to demonstrate some stuff, like please go ahead.
So, I mean, you got really your three main noises, which is that kick drum, the hi-hat, and then your snare. The kick drum is pretty basic. It's just
Okay.
really you're just doing a B,
Okay.
and then making it more plosive. For your hi-hat, it's really, I like to write out on the score, just different letters for each different sound. So for the kick drum, I'll just write a B. For a hi-hat, I'll write a TS or just a T, which that's the hi-hat sound is.
Okay.
But you can change the length of it too. So
Oh. See, I'm learning. I was telling Nate before, and I was like, I kind of can beatbox, but I kind of just more like make autistic noises in the shower. So this is very instructive to me too.
It's more than just bits and cats.
Yeah,
which is
sounds
what,
like it.
What you talk about in the third grade on the playground. And you're like, yeah, I'm so cool.
So you can take the same kind of drum kit sound, if you will, and kind of elongate or shorten it,
Right.
kind of what your use case
there's
is.
so many different ways to play around with noises, and
Now, what's the snare drum?
the snare drum, that is where you get the most creativity. There's a lot of different ways to make that kind of sound. The boots and cats, I think that's a great way to start. Just a K sound, that's what I write on my scores. Just a but you can also do it kind of in reverse, where you breathe in.
Oh, and that's a different kind of.
Yeah.
Whoa!
And
that's
that has
a totally different sound.
Totally different sound. And the third way is, I read it as a P and an F, and that sounds like a.
I could not do that. How do you do that with your lips? You're clearly doing something with your lips to make that sound.
Right. So I start out with like that, kind of like the same as the bass drum with the, and I transition it into an F, where you
Oh,
exactly.
I just got a new kit. The new thing in my arsenal. This is not good.
Nate, what have you done?
Oh, this. Dude, my parents are going to hate me when I get in the shower tonight. It's going to be so bad.
Yeah, so those are the three main snare drum.
Now, the other thing I've
noises.
noticed is you're saying these consonants, but like when we hear them out loud, you're not just like there's a difference between like a B and the B that you're doing, if that makes sense. I mean, you've mentioned that it's more plosive, but like what are you doing?
What
Like,
does
what's going on
plosive
in
mean?
here? Yeah, well,
Is
first of
that
all, what is that?
explosive? Implosive?
It's really, I think, I'm creating a lot.
Sorry, we're so stupid. Just thank you for bearing with us.
I'm
We're having fun.
I'm creating a lot of pressure in my mouth right before, and then once you release it, that's where the sound really comes out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. That's that. I think that's the best way I can explain it.
So the sound, the beautiful crisp P sound you just made is resulting of a buildup of pressure. Whereas if I were to just go, that's
Yeah.
Trevor's got
I can't be giving this away for free. Hold on. But you're getting me. I'm learning all sorts of things. This is very exciting. How do you recommend people practice beatboxing? And like, what do you recommend? Like, because like I think the biggest thing for me as a future teacher, it's like if you want to get your students to do it, you kind of have to learn it. You have to be the one that's willing to go in the weeds and do it yourself. And you're the perfect example of someone who, I mean, did it for fun, but in terms of like doing it actually in a group, went from not doing it at all to, I mean, I've listened to the BBT in the last year, being quite successful at it, and really good beatboxer, especially for the beatboxers that have been in years past. Like, you do a phenomenal job
Thank you.
on the kit. So what tips do you have for people to get into, like, how do they practice? How do you go about like practicing and getting better at it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first thing is just, this is something you can practice anywhere, really. I just do it. I do it all the time. This is a vocal stim for me where I'm just walking around my house and I'll be beatboxing annoying my roommates. YouTube is your friend. There's a lot of really good tutorials out there on, how to get started. And then also, more complicated stuff. And it's also just a matter of hours. You can just starting somewhere and, being consistent about trying to improve. Yeah.
Did you know you could do it, or was it one of those they were like, you're going to do it, and you're like, okay, and then you feel better about it as time goes on because you're like, no, I got this kind of a deal. You know what I mean?
I really wanted to try it out.
That's the attitude right there.
Because I think, the first song I did VP for was Dance the Night. And I asked you guys if I could do the vocal percussion on that one.
Well, you also, we knew that our previous VP was going to leave. We had known for kind of a while. And we were kind of like, crap, like, what are we going to do? I remember Grace and I literally had a notes app of like summer to-dos. And it was like, learn how to beatbox. But you had asked us before the end of the previous year, you were like, hey, like, I'd love to beatbox. So we knew, but we didn't want to just like tell you were doing it. So we're like, okay, I guess we'll just figure it out because he doesn't want to.
Sure. I'm sorry. I really wish I saw it. I had gotten that.
It's fine. It's fine now.
Well, I was like, you're the beatboxer now,
Yeah,
so it
worked
worked out in the end. It worked out in the end, so And no, seriously, you do a phenomenal job at the kit. Like, it's been really cool. And also, as someone, like you said, that you've been kind of learning as the years gone on. I mean, I've heard you guys at the beginning of the school year all the way to the end, and you actually can hear your improvement on the kit. Like, I'm not saying you were bad. I'm just saying, like, you actually can hear the improvement, and you, like, actually taking the time to mess with it, figure things out, try new things. And I heard your kit expand as the year went on, which was also really inspiring. I mean, I think, the hardest thing is, I feel like, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not in the acapella space, but I feel like one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing, is finding the person who can do the vocal percussion. And the fact that you have done that from, just farting around on your own is really really inspiring. And, like, just your attitude with it is just really, really cool. And, it just sounds like that's the kind of people you, A, Gonzaga fosters, but B, that you guys really foster in that group is that kind of community, like, willing to put the team first, which is something that I think is often lost in the classical world, like remembering that it's a team effort at the end of the day. And I think that's something that's really beautiful that I see in a cappella music making more than I see, not that it doesn't exist in classical singing, but I see it more prevalently in your artistry.
Well, can I ask you, it seems like the stakes are higher in a cappella, where it's not like, it's not like a basketball team where you have 5 people out on the court at a time, and if somebody is not pulling their weight, you pull them out, you put the sub in. Whereas if you have somebody who is not up to standard in an a cappella space, the detriment that brings to the group as a whole, would you say that's quite a bit larger than?
Yeah.
So that means that being an a cappella singer, your part independence and your preparedness needs to be that much further up.
Which I think elevates why your audition process is so intense, because that helps you find that right person, so you don't have a situation halfway through the year where you find out that, maybe you can't function in the group. Like, you need to have that kind of level of engagement.
Are there personality aspects that you look for in people as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that honestly, like, I think I've done 3 or 4 auditions now, and watching, probably close to 100 people, I look at character. Character is the biggest thing that I look at, because you can't really teach character. You can teach vocal technique. You can teach, so many things, but teaching character is pretty hard to do. And so, we definitely look for the people who are, I remember Kelsey and I, when we joined our freshman year, we had messaged BBT like 3 months in advance. We're like, we want to be in it. And people who are very, like, go-getters, like, we want to do this. This is why I want to do it. Kind of proving to you that we're going to show up on time. And, we really value that. We really value professionalism, even though we're a very, like, chill group. But it's like,
it is,
if you show up late to rehearsal, you're going to get, like, little bit of a side eye. You're like, come on,
it is,
just show up.
It is a serious commitment.
Yeah.
I'd say.
How many hours of rehearsal do you have a week?
3, but we're going to 4 next year.
Okay.
Speaking of that, what is the biggest change that you're implementing this year in BBT? Because I've kind of heard the rumor mill, the scuttlebutt is that we are entering a new era of sweeping reform. So what's changing? What's new?
Well, it sounds like you're getting an extra hour of rehearsal time.
Correct.
Yeah, I think we are just, I think we've seen BBT go through, I've connected with some more alumni, and this transition where it's like, okay, we're a club, we're just some people who learn music together and make a music video once a year, but we are really, like, we're starting an alumni, like, network where we are trying to ask them, how did you do this? Or can you help us fundraise? We go to LA now. We used to go to Orlando, but we're now going to LA for a festival, and we want to compete in that festival for the first time this year. So we're becoming a lot more competitive.
Right.
And this is much less of a club now and more of this is a class that you're being graded on, and we are going to have assignments this year, and we are going to have part tests and making sure that people know their stuff, which honestly people do without it, but we want that added element of like, okay, yes, I do need to know my stuff. So yeah, a lot more responsibility and a lot more effort.
Now, you talk about it being a class, but there needs, like, in order for it to be a class, it means there's some sort of faculty involvement. So can you talk about you guys are the directors, but you do still have, because you're a class, there is still faculty oversight. So can you talk about what that relationship looks like? Like, yeah, how is faculty involved in the process of Big Bang Theory?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do have a faculty advisor, Dr. Stolman, the GOAT.
True. Can confirm.
Big fan.
Big fan.
Friend of the podcast.
And she is really a great resource for us directors. We're, able to come to her with questions, or, sometimes she'll come in and sit in for a rehearsal and kind of, give us her thoughts. But
yeah, like kind of more coaching, though.
More coaching. Like. She doesn't necessarily want to take over the rehearsal. She still wants the directors to, be leading it, but maybe she'll give us, her input on different things.
How often is she in rehearsal, would you say?
Less than she used to.
Wow, calling her out. Wow, Nate.
Her life's been busy.
Yes, she has a lot going on.
Honestly, we haven't needed her to come in as much.
Fair enough.
That's
a good problem to have.
She will always come in when we need her to, but this year we didn't need her to as much. We always appreciate like her advice, and she's really helpful. But she comes in probably like 3 to 5 times a semester.
Okay.
But I meet with her every week.
Sure.
So yeah, and Nate will too next year.
Sure.
Have you guys started looking at repertoire for next year?
We're already planned out for the entire fall semester.
Entire fall semester.
Yeah.
Dang, good for you guys.
Are you excited about it? Is there anything in particular that you just cannot wait to start rehearsing?
I mean,
He's trying to get you guys to like drop some leaks and that kind of thing.
We will not be saying our
classified?
ICCA set.
Feel comfortable to not share what you can't share.
Since you've been gone.
Yes, we're bringing that one back.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite out of our fall set is Back Pocket by Wolfpack.
All right.
It's a fun one. And yes, I'm very, very excited for our ICCA set this next year.
The ever elusive.
We will not be revealing
that.
the names of the pieces.
Can I just say a tune that I think you guys should maybe look into for another time? The tune Grace Kelly by Mika. If you can find a cool a cappella arrangement, you've heard it before. This is like 2007 top 40 radio pop hit. But I think that would sound so cool in an a cappella
so old
arrangement.
in 2007 and very well versed in that radio time.
Definitely. More well versed than you'd think, Trevor. My family will tell you I was a very weird child, very musically involved at a young age.
Fair enough.
That's why I'm a co-host of Beyond the Score.
This is true.
But yeah, check it out. If you could find a cool a cappella arrangement, that would be awesome.
When it comes to finding music, I think you mentioned before that you've had members of the group arrange for you. Do arrangements typically tend to be in-house, or who are the people writing this music? How are you finding these arrangements? Are they super common? Are they easy to get your hands on? Are they hard? What kind of recommendations do you have for, again, like I said, I'm thinking like the high school teacher who wants to start an a cappella group at their school. What kind of advice do you have for helping them find repertoire and that kind of thing?
Yeah. I'm actually helping coach a high school a cappella group next year. And so I started looking at rep for them. And I always go to Rob Dietz first. I find that his arrangements are very he like has them grouped based off of levels, and they're very accurate. Like if it says intermediate, it is truly intermediate. And he always does a really great job. We had him write our ICCA set last year. And then Deke Sharon is always great.
Deke Sharon, is he the one who wrote the music in Pitch Perfect? Or am I thinking of the wrong guy? That is Deke Sharon.
Yeah. And then also, we kind of just met him this year, but David Fowler, he writes some good stuff too. He doesn't really have a public arrangement library where you can buy stuff, but he does private things as well. I will say it's very hard to find good a cappella music because it is almost always people writing on MuseScore who don't necessarily know how to write. We had an incident last year where we picked a medley from a Mamma Mia medley, and the chords were all wrong. And we didn't have enough time to pick a new piece of music before Fall Family Weekend, so we just sang unison and clapped our hands. And we have learned that MuseScore is not really our friend. But Grace and I found, Grace found this like really great Olivia Rodrigo medley that we did this last year, and it was awesome. So it's really like a mixed bag on MuseScore, but I'd say JW Pepper is the best place.
Trevor, do you know who Olivia Rodrigo is?
I do know who Olivia Rodrigo is. I actually have a funny story from when I was at Gonzaga. We toured with the Glee Club, and one of the we went toward a middle school up around the area, and one of the middle school kids said, "What kind of pop music do you listen to?" And all the Glee Club guys like looked at me because they were like, "This is going to be really funny to get him," because as our audience is slowly learning, I am very classically minded. I pretty much only listen to classical music and Big Bang Theory. That is pretty much my YouTube music playlist, and that's pretty much it. And so they were like, he is not going to be able to answer this question. And the only person who could come to my mind was Olivia Rodrigo. And Dr. Stolman was like, you just told a bunch of middle school boys to go listen to Olivia Rodrigo. Do you know what you've done and the crimes that you have committed? Are they old enough to be listening to that music? It's like, I could not think of anything else in that moment when they put me on the spot. Like, I don't know what you want from me. So, yes, I do know who Olivia Rodrigo is.
Proud of you.
I relate to the story of having poor arrangements because I have a barbershop quartet that, it's barbershop is not a cappella, but it is a different genre of a cappella type singing. And we wanted to do we were invited to sing at a funeral, and they wanted an arrangement of It Is Well With My Soul. And we found one, and we were like, oh, this is really pretty. And we heard Ringmaster's very popular barbershop, very famous barbershop group from Europe, and they sounded amazing. And we were like, we're going to do this arrangement. And we found a copy of it online. We bought it, mind you. And this person clearly wrote pretty music, understood how to get the barbershop sound out, but and chords, especially in barbershop, are everything. Like spelling of chord, like knowing that this looks like a dominant 7 chord, like knowing that the chord looks right. And
like
they were
what note goes where.
Yeah, and then they were just like spelling chords where like it sounded like a dominant 7, but spelling them with N harmonics. And like N harmonics, like they were like a G sharp and a G flat in the same chord. And you're like...
So to translate, that would be like switching your C's and K's. Or, soft C and the letter S if you're writing a sentence.
Just like, and like barbershop is very much, that form of art form is very much about tuning and balance. And so chords need to be spelled correctly, because when you're a singer in a barbershop quartet, you need to know how you function in a chord, because tuning is the most important element of barbershop. And I remember I gave up and I said, I'm rewriting this by hand. I could not do it anymore.
Yeah.
So it can be hit or miss when it comes to that kind of stuff, which can be frustrating.
I have a question for Eliana about directing an ensemble. Sorry, Nate, you haven't been there yet. So because you sing in the ensemble and you're also a director, does that make it difficult to learn the music because you have to direct? Like, are you singing and directing at the same time, or are you in director mode and then you just have to go learn the music on your own time?
Yeah, I I very quickly learned it's not the same as, being a section leader or anything like that. Because, like, if you are a section leader in an ensemble, you still have the director who could tell you, oh, you guys are singing that note wrong. But when you are singing and also trying to make sure that the chords are right, like, that is a very difficult challenge. I will say, like, the fact that I typically sing soprano kind of helps because typically my parts are pretty easy. And so I learn it, and then I can go kind of bounce around trying to figure out if everyone else has got it. Yeah, I actually had a vocal injury this year that led me to not sing for a couple weeks in BBT, and I found it a lot easier then when I wasn't having to think about my own part because I could hear the other parts. But yeah, it definitely is an added challenge, and I've learned really as an educator, like when you teach a piece of music, you want to almost always know every single part, about 80%. And so, yeah, even leading up to this year, I'm like learning every single part to make sure that when we teach it, we're not teaching incorrectly as well. So, yeah.
What is, because so fun story. I actually auditioned for BBT when I was a wee little baby boy, and I did not get in. Now, I was a very different person back then that I was not proud of and had attitude issues, and there was a whole, I am very proud of the person I now am, let's just say, and it was very much the right reason. It was very much the right call to not cast me in BBT at the time that I auditioned, looking back. But I think even now, and my musicianship's gotten a lot better, but I still think that I wouldn't be a good fit for BBT because I am so chorally inclined. And I hear, you have many of your members also sing in classical choirs, but you all have some sort of, there is some sort of musical magic that all those members have that I fail to see in some other people who are very, very talented, but clearly just strictly in that kind of classical zone. So what differentiates you as a singer in an a cappella scene, and what tools would you give someone like Luke and I, who are very very classically trained, and what would we need to be able to do to succeed in an a cappella setting?
I think you can succeed. I think that something you might notice differently with BBT is, I noticed this very quickly. I thought this would be a group where it was very focused on, okay, we have these soloists and these are the people who almost always solo. And, there are people who solo quite frequently, but there is a sense of love and teamwork and wanting to just make music together. We really care about what we do, and we're all very good musicians, but at the end of the day, we go on these trips and we wish they were longer, and we wish that we had more time together. And so I think it's more about the fact that it's less of an I thing, and it's more of how can we work together. I think in a lot of ways, for me as a musician, when I got to BBT, I felt like I could kind of release all the stress that I had, because it was just if you make a mistake, you make a mistake, but we keep going because we're working together to have fun and to perform well. And we are very hard on ourselves. It's not that we are easy on ourselves at all. We are, I'm a very blunt person, and I've been very blunt with the group, and I've been hard on myself, and every person in BBT is very hard on themselves. But at the end of the day, we love each other and we want to work together. I think it would have to be letting go of the perfectionism. Yeah.
Impossible.
For the two of us, no chance.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'll probably stick to the classical world where I feel comfortable and safe.
And I'm going to stick to just running around and doing 100 different things like a chicken with my head cut off.
You do that quite well, Luke. You do that very, very well. Okay. You have a question that at the very bottom that I'm very curious about, but you came up with it, so I need to let you ask.
Okay. Who's your favorite Pitch Perfect character?
I know mine. It's Lily. Oh, the Asian one.
Oh, the beatboxer.
The beatboxer. She's basically me, or I'm basically her. Really.
Did you know that when we did the test that I said that you were her?
Really?
I don't know. I think I told Lily that. Oh gosh. I love Jessie. I aspire to be Jessie. I sometimes worry that I'm like an Audrey, but I love Becca. We'll go with Becca.
All right, solid choice. Easily the two commentators, Elizabeth Banks and John. What's his name? The most disappointing thing to me about BBT is the fact that they're not actually real.
Oh my god. I would have to say that my favorite is that Emily? Is that her name? Haley Steinfeld's character?
Mm-hmm.
Emily. Emily's probably my favorite because I think that it's a cool. Pitch Perfect 1 is all about Becca, who's a freshman, comes and shakes it all up, and I think that Pitch Perfect 2, it's kind of beautiful that Becca's a senior and there's another freshman who comes in and shakes it all up, and Becca's like and then kind of realizes that that's kind of what happened when I was a freshman. Like, it's just kind of the nature of how the world works is as new people come in, new ideas happen, and the group blossoms and grows in really beautiful ways. And also her voice is velvety gorgeous. And I can't get enough. And her and Sit Still Look Pretty is just like, it is to die for. I love Haley Steinfeld, and she married a footballer.
Who's Haley Steinfeld again?
Oh gosh,
Luke. Do not do this to me, Luke Liebert. Although I couldn't tell you any other films that she's in. So, I mean,
see, I know who Josh Allen, her husband, is.
There's that one that she's in. I can't remember what it's called.
I think she's in a Transformers movie.
The Edge of 17.
Yes.
You guys seen that?
Yes.
The Stevie Nicks song?
It's also a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've learned a lot. This has been very exciting. We're very excited. We're very excited. I came up with this to do this podcast, and the first people I wanted on were you guys. We wanted the BBT representation and to learn about acapella, because acapella is something like I said, I love Pitch Perfect. Like, this is like the guilty pleasure of mine that people don't realize. I love Pitch Perfect and those movies, and whenever I work out, my workout playlist is all Pitch Perfect and BBT. It's just acapella gets me fired up, and it's an art form that I greatly appreciate and wish I was better at. So we're very excited. This has been a wonderful conversation to get to have with you guys.
Is this like your equivalent of reality TV to me?
What do you mean?
Pitch Perfect?
Just my
probably.
addiction?
Yes.
That? Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't watch a lot of TV, although I did just finish watching Ted Lasso in preparation for season 4, which I forgot how good that show was. I watched it like a couple years ago, put it away. Like, when season 3 came out, I watched it all the way through. I first heard about it, watched it all the way through, put it away. And because I got a new iPad, so I got 3 free months of Apple TV, and so I cashed it so I could watch Ted Lasso. And I re-watched it again, and I forgot how good that show is. Not that has anything to do with this podcast episode. But
this episode is...
Go watch Ted Lasso if you have Apple TV. It is worth every penny to just buy 1 month of it and just watch Ted Lasso.
We are not sponsored by Apple TV Plus.
Good call. I wish, but sadly not.
Tim Cook, if you're listening.
Tim Cook's not Apple anymore.
Not till September.
I actually forget. Oh, is he still there? Oh, I didn't really.
I think so. And then John Turnus will be the guy. But
all right, Eliana, Nate, do you have link? Tell us about yourself. Where can we find BBT? If people are interested in hearing more, if people, I know that this will come out in the summer, so maybe we get people who want to audition for BBT this fall. Like, where can people get more information about you guys and the group and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, our Instagram is Big Bang Theory GU. That's our handle. We try and post, semi-regularly, either if we're, traveling or what kind of events we have going on. But yeah, throughout the year, we post a lot of updates about what we have going on.
And if you DM that account, me or Brianna will respond to you. You can also email gu.bigbangtheory@gmail.com. Or we also have a website based off of the GU Choir's website, but it does look fancy. So if you look up Gonzaga Big Bang Theory, we are there, and there are videos of us, and yeah.
And it sounds like you're on the major streaming platforms. You have albums that have been released and things like that?
Totally. We have 3 EPs. The 4th one is on the way.
Ooh.
And maybe some singles with it too. Yeah, we're on Spotify, Apple TV, or Apple. No, we've been talking about that
sponsor,
too
Eliana.
much.
There's a documentary about Big Bang Theory newly released on Apple TV.
Oh, please. We would eat that up. Yeah, Apple Music. We're on the radio, I guess. Yeah, everything that DistroKid wants us to be on. So.
Fair enough. Any last words, the two of you, or?
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being willing to come on and try and deal with us, because we can be a handful.
Yeah, so I'll just say real quick, speaking of dealing with us, if you want to reach out to Trevor or I to ask us any questions, you can DM us on Instagram at Beyond the Score Podcast, or email us at beyondthescoreshow@gmail.com. So you can submit your questions straight to us, and if you're lucky, we might even answer them on the show. Is there anything else that we need to say before we sign off?
I think thank you guys so much for coming on. We look forward to seeing where BBT goes in this next year. There's very exciting things. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's always fun to watch BBT, and you guys do both incredible work, and I'm excited to see where you guys take the group in this next year.
Yeah, this is going to be
you.
amazing, you guys. So
And with that, that's another episode of Beyond the Score. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
bye.